Congressman John Lewis has called Donald Trump's presidency illegitimate, but not many people have been willing to ask the obvious follow-up question. If Trump isn't the legitimate president, who is? One person who has made that argument is Huffington Post writer Alex Mohajer. He wrote a piece on Sunday calling Hillary Clinton, quote, the rightful president-elect of the United States, and said a federal judge ought to intervene to keep Trump from taking office and hand the presidency to someone else. Mr. Mohajer joins us from Los Angeles. Alex, thanks for coming on. So
thanks for having me, Tucker.
How does this work exactly? I mean, the rest of us sort of assume that once you win the presidential election, you get to be president, but you say no.
Well, my argument is that 66 million Americans voted for Hillary Clinton. She won the popular vote by 3 million votes or so, about 2.1%. And there are legitimate questions as to the way that Donald Trump won the election, particularly with regard to the Russian interventionism, and then, of course, FBI Director James Comey's letter to Congress the week before the election that was meant to bring about questions as to criminal wrongdoing by the Democratic nominee a week before the election, which we have evidence that shows that it had an impact on the outcome of the election, that late-breaking voters decided en masse, late-deciding voters, rather, decided that they were going to vote for Donald Trump in a way that skewed the election for him. So
yeah, I mean, being under FBI investigation does not help. No, I wouldn't doubt that at all. But to the Russian thing, so the reason I want to talk to you is you had this piece in the Huffington Post about this, and it was long, and you had bullet points listing all the reasons, and a lot of people shared that piece. It was widely read. One of the bullet points you gave on there, I think it was number 3, you put up on, and I think we have it on the screen, you put up a page from a magazine from 1987 that you said shows, and this piece claims, that Donald Trump was 30 years ago recruited by the Soviets to run for president of the United States. This is a piece from a publication called Executive Intelligence Review. It's from your piece, keep in mind. Do you know what Executive Intelligence Review is?
It's a news publication. It's the EIR. They have lots of archives of stories going back through the 80s. And that article is detailing... Go on.
But do you know who publishes it?
There's a bit of a delay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, do you know who publishes Executive Intelligence Review? It's the Lyndon LaRouche cult, the anti-Semitic cult.
Lyndon LaRouche, that's right.
Yeah, Lyndon LaRouche.
I'm aware.
So, oh, you're aware of that?
Okay.
So you put up as your evidence a piece of propaganda from the Lyndon LaRouche newsletter, okay? Why didn't you just go with like a Scientology pamphlet or Heaven's Gate or something? I mean, do you really think that's a legitimate news source?
Tucker Carlson, you were the editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller, which for a decade, called into question Barack Obama's legitimacy as a president based on his race and other racially motivated.
Of course it didn't say that, but I'm not
are
running
you
an anti-Semitic cult.
Journalist because you are you an illegitimate journalist because your very own website ran some pretty racist, terrible junk, and that didn't stop you, did it?
Name one, tough guy.
Well, let's go look at. Go Google it. There's a lot.
So, Alex, look, are you? So you're standing by this?
The fact is that since 1987,
you were quoting a Lyndon LaRouche publication as legitimate.
I am saying that since 1987, Donald Trump has been taking all expense-paid trips to Russia on the expense of the Russian government, and then claims to the United States government, to the United States populace, that he has no relationship with Russia, that he knows nothing about Russia.
No, that's not what you were claiming. I just read your piece, Alex. What you were claiming. That's not what you were claiming.
That is what I'm saying in the piece.
I can read it.
I'm saying that he has lied. He has lied to the American people and been very dishonest about his relationship with Russia.
You were saying that the Soviets chose him for president. Okay. So you're going to stand by that?
That's not what I said. That's not what I... You're going to have to go reread the article.
I just read it about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, well,
so
give it a reread.
Okay. I'm tempted to end this right now because you're saying, well, Lyndon LaRouche is a legitimate news source, but I just want to keep going because I want to have a couple questions. So you're saying in this...
That's not what I'm saying. Let me just say something, Tucker.
Oh, actually, you are saying that, I think.
No, I don't say that you are a crappy journalist because of the Daily Caller. I am saying that there is a piece that suggests something. I'm not going to. I am not speaking to the publication.
Alex, come into it,
and the Daily Caller and Daily Caller is a very racist, offensive, right-wing publication. I mean, my point. Do you see my point? I'm not speaking to the publication. I'm speaking to the piece.
You're pointing
Well,
the publication to make a point
honest.
that the piece contains. Let me ask you one last question, and this is a philosophical one.
No, you're trying to conflate the piece with the publication.
I'm pointing to your story.
And then have me be responsible for it.
Let me just ask you, if I could, for a second, a philosophical question, which is this. You say that we need to remove Donald Trump from the presidency for the sake of democracy. So you had over 60 million people vote for him. And you're saying
that's not what I said.
One judge or a panel of judges removing him would be more democratic than the election results. It seems like the opposite of democracy.
If it is found, no, if it is found that there was wrongdoing, such as collusion with the Russian government to hack our elections, or with the FBI director to purposefully release a letter that he knew was bogus.
So you think there was collusion between Trump and the FBI director?
We'll see. The Department of Justice is investigating this.
A crackpot like you who would throw something out there with no evidence is distressing, and shame on the Huffington Post for printing
you know what is
garbage.
distressing? You know what's distressing is that people, it's that people on the name of partisanship won't listen to each other's arguments. It's that you'll call me a crackpot instead of listen. No, the difference is
I was trying to listen, and you're alleging things that you can't know.
No. Because of this constant partisan squabbling, and I'm frustrated because instead of this constant partisan squabbling, and I write this in my piece,
ran a partisan
we've been so
group
trained to make this Democrat versus Republican, but you're
a Democratic political operative. Sorry about that. Up next, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the